Excuse me, would you mind filling out this employee satisfaction survey before you left today? Sometimes people don't really give us an honest opinion about how they feel about their job until they're about to leave. The same is true for US presidents. George Washington set the precedent for this when he gave his farewell speech back in 1796. He unloaded about his frustration with the development of political parties, and he warned about America getting foreign entanglements with other countries. But timing is everything. President Jimmy Carter made the politically fatal mistake of giving an overly honest opinion while he was still running for re-election, not while he was leaving office. And guess what? He wasn't re-elected. Perhaps one of the most poignant political speeches of the 20th century came from President Dwight D. Eisenhower. In 1961, after 2 terms in office and after a long career in the American military, Dwight D. Eisenhower queued up his farewell address. He feared America's government was being captured by military interests. Here's what Ike said. "We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by a military-industrial complex." You might have heard the phrase military-industrial complex before, but let me provide some context as to why this is such a powerful statement coming from Dwight D. Eisenhower. First of all, Eisenhower was a military guy. He'd been serving in the U.S. Army since World War I and rose all the way through the ranks to being the general of the United States Army in Europe during World War II. Ike was a Cold Warrior. He'd helped stop the spread of communism during the Korean War. He'd been teeing up against the Soviet Union and China. The government had spent enormous amounts of money while he was president trying to build up the military to discourage the spread of communism. Even his most expansive domestic policy achievement, the creation of the interstate highway system, was in part to try to make America more prepared in national defense. The highways were there not just to get people around, but also to help the military move around. Meanwhile, Dwight D. Eisenhower's vice president, Richard Nixon, was running for president against John F. Kennedy. And John F. Kennedy in his campaign would accuse Eisenhower and Nixon both of falling into a missile gap, that is, falling behind the Soviet Union in military production and preparedness. So knowing all of this context, it makes it even more remarkable that an outgoing Republican president, a military man, and a Cold Warrior, as he was leaving office saying, hey, America is becoming addicted to military spending. And this is a little bit of a mic drop from Eisenhower saying, hey, I've been overseeing all of this, but I don't necessarily like all of it. More Cold War stories to come, but until next time, Dr. Tim out.